What if I told you your mind has a reset button, and that, by pressing it, you could erase years of negative thoughts, doubts, and failures in just 48 hours? This is not a metaphor. There is a protocol, an exact sequence of words you need to say to yourself, discovered over 5,000 years ago by Thoth, the scribe of the Egyptian gods. They didn't use this to build pyramids of stone, but to build empires of personal power. Modern science confirms it. 80% of your thoughts today are the same as yesterday, keeping you trapped in an invisible loop. But what they don't tell you is how to break that cycle. The secret lies in a 2-day method that reprograms your brain on a fundamental level. On the first day, you'll identify the code that's sabotaging you. On the second, you'll install a new operating system. Stick with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to hand you the exact map. I'll show you the formula that transforms your inner dialogue from a prison into a palace. This is the knowledge the powerful never wanted you to know. And before we begin, if you feel ready to break this cycle, comment below, "I am the architect of my mind." Let's begin. The excellence of the soul is understanding. For the man who understands is conscious, devoted, and already similar to a god. Thoth, the scribe of the gods, the master of wisdom, taught that the human mind is like a fertile garden. Every thought you allow in is a seed. A thought of doubt plants a weed of failure. A thought of confidence plants a flower of success. The crucial difference is that in the garden of the mind, the harvest is instant. The seed of a negative thought immediately blooms as a feeling of anxiety, a defeated posture, a fear-based decision. You don't need to wait for seasons to see the result. You live it in real time. Modern science, with all its technology, is only beginning to prove what Thoth already knew. They call it neuroplasticity. Your brain is not a fixed and unchanging structure. It is malleable like clay. Every time you repeat a thought, you strengthen a neural connection, digging a deeper path. If you constantly tell yourself you're not capable, you're literally carving the highway of incapacity into your brain. But the opposite is also true. You can carve new paths, new neural roads of power, confidence, and abundance. The big mistake almost everyone makes is trying to change life from the outside. They look for a new job, a new relationship, more money, hoping that it will change how they feel inside. It's like trying to change the image in the mirror without moving your own body. It's a losing battle. The ancient Egyptians knew the fundamental law, as within, so without. Your outer reality will never be more than a perfect and merciless mirror of your inner state, of your silent and constant self-talk. When you understand this, everything changes. You stop being a reactive passenger on the journey of life and become the pilot. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become the architect of your experience. But how do you actually do this? How do you take control of that internal dialogue? Thoth didn't just leave behind philosophy, he left a method. A precise formula, a protocol that promises to accelerate this transformation from a lifetime into just 48 hours. And the first step to accessing that power is hidden in a place most people are afraid to look: your own mind's resistance. That first step takes us directly into a silent battle that happens inside you every day. In ancient hieroglyphs, there is an image that few understand. A scribe representing your awakened consciousness, trying to write your destiny, while a cunning serpent tries to steal his pen. That serpent is not a mythical creature. It is a map of your own mind. It is what Thoth called the ancient mind, the guardian of all your past programming. It is the voice of fear, of doubt, of limitation, the echo of every no you've ever heard. The function of this ancient mind is not to make you unhappy. Its function is to keep you alive. To it, any change is a threat. The unknown is dangerous. That's why it prefers the safety of familiar pain over the uncertainty of new happiness. It prefers the prison it knows rather than the freedom it can't control. And when you decide to change, when you pick up the pen to write a new story, that serpent doesn't hand over control easily. It will fight with all its strength to keep you exactly where you are. The resistance you feel is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that your mind's defense system is working perfectly. At first, the resistance is subtle. The ancient mind ignores you. You say your affirmations, feel good for a few minutes, but soon it pulls you back into old patterns, like an invisible tide. You find yourself thinking the same negative thoughts, feeling the same old emotions, and don't even realize how you've slipped back into autopilot. That's the first line of defense. Silent denial, but when the ancient mind sees that you're serious, the tactic changes. Sabotage becomes active. Suddenly, a flood of negative thoughts invades your consciousness. Who do you think you are? This will never work. You've tried this before and failed, and it doesn't stop there. Strange coincidences begin to happen. The car breaks down, an unexpected bill shows up, someone criticizes you. The external world seems to conspire to prove your old limiting beliefs right. Many give up here, thinking the universe is sending a sign to stop. But Thoth taught that it's exactly the opposite. The intensity of the resistance is the measure of your nearness to freedom. The darker the night, the closer the dawn. The final battle is the most intense. The ancient mind plays its last card, often creating an emotional crisis or dramatic situation that forces you to choose. Return to the safety of the old identity, or break with the past once and for all. It is the trial by fire. The key, according to Thoth, is not to kill the serpent. It is to learn to dance with it. He developed a technique for this, a form of mental alchemy to transform the poison of resistance into an elixir of power. It's a method for using your enemy's strength in your favor, turning every attack of doubt into a step up toward your ascension. But even if you learn to tame this inner beast, there is an even more treacherous danger. A subtle trap that can sabotage all your progress at the exact moment you begin to see the light. And if you don't know what it is, all your effort will have been in vain. The hidden danger that can destroy your transformation. Even after learning to dance with the serpent of resistance, the journey doesn't end. In fact, this is where many stumble and fall, right when victory seems closest. In Thoth's secret archives, there is a papyrus known as the Scroll of Warnings, a manual on the mental traps awaiting those on the path of awakening. The first, and perhaps the most dangerous, is the illusion of premature victory. It's the trap of the spiritual ego whispering in your ear that you've already arrived. This happens when the first results begin to show up. A new opportunity appears out of nowhere, your energy rises, people start treating you differently. At that moment, a feeling of euphoria takes over and you think, I did it. The work is done. And then you relax. You stop watching your thoughts, abandon your daily practices, believing that the change is permanent. It's like a rower who, upon seeing the shore, drops the oars, only to be pulled back out to sea by the treacherous current of old habits. Another danger is what Thoth called the emotional seesaw effect. When you raise your vibration, your sensitivity increases drastically. It's like living in a dark room and suddenly someone turns on a bright light. You begin to see the dust and dirt that were always there, but you couldn't see before. Relationships that were once just complicated now reveal themselves to be unbearably toxic. Work environments that were stressful now become drains on your vital energy. This is not a setback, it's a sign of evolution. Your higher consciousness no longer tolerates what used to be considered normal. But if you don't know how to navigate these emotional valleys, you can drown in them. The ancient mind will use that sensitivity to tell you, see, you were happier before. This awakening stuff only brought you more pain. Worse still is the trap of forced manifestation. Once you discover your creative power, you can become a mental tyrant, trying to control every detail of reality, obsessed with external signs that it's working. This anxiety for results, ironically, comes from fear and lack, blocking the natural flow of manifestation which only happens through trust and surrender. Thoth taught that the key to moving through this minefield is loving vigilance. It's not harsh self-criticism, but a gentle, constant awareness, like a gardener tending to his plants, carefully pulling weeds and watering flowers with care. You learn to observe your inner states without judgment, recognizing dangers without identifying with them. It's a delicate dance between discipline and compassion, vigilance and acceptance. It's the art of being the guardian of your own inner garden. But for this vigilance to be truly effective, for you to anticipate and neutralize these traps, you need a strategic advantage. You need to know the exact moment when your mind's defenses are lowest and your power of reprogramming is at its peak. There is a window of time every day, a sacred portal when your thoughts carry 10 times more power. And knowing how to use this moment is what separates amateurs from masters in the art of transformation. This sacred portal is not a place, but a moment in time, a state of consciousness you access every day but almost always waste. In the temples of ancient Egypt, this moment was known as Khepri, the rising of the sun, the magical instant between deep sleep and full wakefulness. It is in this liminal state, this twilight of consciousness, that extraordinary power resides. Modern science, with its EEGs, merely confirms what the sages knew for millennia. During the first 5 to 10 minutes after waking up, your brain isn't operating at its normal alert frequency, beta waves. It's vibrating at a slower, more rhythmic frequency, theta waves. This is the same brain state achieved by monks in deep meditation, the same state induced during hypnosis. In this moment, the veil separating your conscious mind from your subconscious is incredibly thin. Your subconscious, the operating system of your life, is completely open, receptive, like moist clay ready to be shaped. Think about what most people do during this sacred moment. Before they even connect with themselves, they connect with the world. They pick up their phones. They dive into an ocean of emails, negative news, social media comparisons, and other people's demands. By doing this, they are unconsciously handing the key to their subconscious over to the chaos of the external world. They are programming their day for reactivity, for stress, for scarcity, setting a low vibrational frequency that will color every hour that follows. Thoth taught a specific ritual to reclaim the power of this golden window. It's an act of personal sovereignty. Before you even open your eyes, while you're still floating in that dreamy state between sleep and wakefulness, you begin a deliberate internal dialogue. It's not about repeating empty phrases like a robot. It's about planting seeds of truth in the most fertile soil of your consciousness. You're not trying to convince your analytical mind. It's still asleep. You're speaking directly to the source of your power. You begin by declaring your highest identity, programming your limitless capabilities, and aligning yourself with your sacred destiny. Every word is a drop of power that sinks deep into your being, setting the tone for your day. Consistency is the key. Thoth taught that 5 minutes of focused programming every morning is infinitely more powerful than an hour of effort once a week. The subconscious learns through repetition. Every morning, you honor the golden window. You strengthen the new neural pathways of your new reality. But the brilliance of this teaching doesn't stop there. Thoth revealed that there isn't just one golden window. There are micro-golden windows that open throughout the day. The moments before falling asleep, the silences right after meditation, the seconds of pause before an important meeting. Learning to recognize and use these portals is like having multiple opportunities to adjust the course of your ship during the day. And what you say in these crucial moments is guided by a specific formula, a 3-pillar structure that Thoth considered the foundation of all creation. The triple formula, the 3 pillars of the dialogue of the gods. Knowing the right time to plant the seeds is crucial, but knowing which seeds to plant is what guarantees the harvest. In Egyptian initiation rituals, the neophytes underwent a process called the transmutation of the word, where they learned to use a language that transformed them in a matter of days. The secret behind this accelerated metamorphosis was Thoth's triple formula, a structure for internal dialogue that not only changes thoughts, but activates 3 dimensions of consciousness at once, creating a powerful resonance that accelerates manifestation. The first pillar of this sacred formula is divine identity. This is the most important pillar and the most misunderstood. It's not about pretending to be something you're not. It's not about saying I am rich when your bills are overdue, creating internal conflict. It's about going deeper. It's about recognizing and declaring the truth of who you are at your core, beyond temporary circumstances. Instead of focusing on what you want to become, you speak from what you already are at a spiritual level. You don't say, I want to be confident. You declare, I am the expression of divine confidence, and every cell in my body vibrates with that certainty. The second pillar is infinite capacity. The ordinary mind operates from limitation. It looks at the bank account, the resume, past experiences, and says, this is all we've got. This pillar teaches you to break that illusion. It connects you with the truth that you, as an expression of the universe, have direct access to infinite intelligence, unlimited creativity, and the organizing power that orchestrates galaxies. Instead of worrying about the how, you affirm, I have access to infinite wisdom that guides me to perfect solutions and the exact resources at the right moment. The third pillar is sacred destiny. This has nothing to do with a predestined, unchangeable future. On the contrary, it's about aligning your personal will with the greater flow of universal purpose. The ancient mind fights life, trying to force doors open and control outcomes. This pillar teaches you to flow with life. You stop worrying about the future and start trusting that there is a greater intelligence orchestrating your journey. Your internal dialogue becomes, "Every step I take is perfectly aligned with my highest destiny. The universe conspires in my favor, organizing people and opportunities to support my journey." When you combine these three pillars in your internal dialogue, something magical happens. You stop trying to convince your logical mind and start awakening dormant aspects of your consciousness that already know these truths. It's like tuning an instrument. The music already exists, but it can only be played when the strings are in tune. The triple formula is the tuning method for your consciousness. It's the language the universe understands. By activating divine identity, infinite capacity, and sacred destiny simultaneously, you create a powerful synergy. Your mind stops resisting because you're no longer declaring something that feels like a lie, but aligning with a deeper truth. It's the difference between trying to push a river and simply stepping into a boat and letting the current carry you. But even with the correct formula, there is a fourth element, an invisible force that Thoth considered the engine of all creation, the energy that truly transforms thought into matter. This fourth element is the secret that gives life to the triple formula. Thoth called it Kepa, an Egyptian word represented by the sacred scarab, the symbol of creation and rebirth. To Thoth, Kepa was not just a symbol, it was the fundamental force of the universe. Vibration. He taught that every word, every thought, is not something abstract. It is a pulse of energy, a real and measurable frequency that reverberates through the fabric of reality. You are not just thinking, you are transmitting a frequency. When you allow yourself to sink into thoughts of fear, doubt, or resentment, you are emitting a low, dense vibrational frequency. It's like tuning the radio of your life to a station that only plays static, drama, and bad news. And by the law of resonance, the universe has no choice but to send you more experiences that match that frequency. Life doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you are, vibrationally. To change your life, you don't need to fight harder, you need to vibrate differently. Inside your brain, there's a part called the reticular activating system. Think of it like a VIP nightclub bouncer that only lets in the information that's on the list. And who makes the list? Your dominant thoughts, your habitual vibration. That's why when you decide to buy a car of a certain color, you suddenly start seeing it everywhere. It's not that the city's fleet changed. It's that your brain received a new instruction and reprogrammed your filter of perception. Now apply this to opportunities, to solutions, to the right people. They were always there, but you weren't tuned in to see them. Thoth developed a specific technique to raise this vibration instantly, a process he called mental alchemy. The beauty of this technique lies in its simplicity and power. The moment you notice a limiting thought arise, like, "This is too hard for me," you don't suppress it, you don't fight it. You use it as a springboard. You immediately transmute it by adding a higher perspective. This apparent difficulty is actually activating capabilities and strengths within me that I didn't even know I had. Do you see the genius? You're not denying the reality of the challenge, you're changing the meaning you give it. You're taking the raw, dense energy of the limiting thought and refining it, raising its frequency. It's like a martial arts master using the momentum of the opponent's attack to take them down. You're not fighting your mind, you're using its energy to empower yourself. It's the art of transforming the lead of limitation into the gold of possibility. When you put all the pieces of the puzzle together, the picture becomes clear. You use the triple formula to know what to say. You use the golden window to know when to say it. And you use mental alchemy to keep your vibration elevated throughout the day. With these 3 keys in hand, you're ready for the final test. The challenge Thoth gave to his most advanced initiates, an intensive protocol that promises to condense years of transformation into just 48 hours. Thoth's 48-hour test. Now that you have the keys, it's time to open the door. In the most secret chambers of Thoth's temple, initiates didn't go through tests of physical strength, but a test of mental power that lasted exactly 48 hours. It was a deep dive, a period of intensive reprogramming designed to create a definitive break with the past. Modern science, through studies on focused neuroplasticity, confirms that the brain can, in fact, forge new permanent neural networks in short periods of intense and repeated practice. This is the method to apply everything you've learned and change your life in 2 days. The first day is the day of awakening. Your only task on this day is not to change anything. It's to observe. You become a scientist of your own consciousness, an impartial observer watching the stream of thoughts without drowning in it. Your constant internal dialogue is, I am observing my thoughts with curiosity and compassion. I am the silent awareness behind the noise of the mind. The goal here is radical, to break identification. You need to create space between yourself and your thoughts to realize, perhaps for the first time, that you are not the voice in your head. During this first day, you act as a sacred cataloger. You mentally note the repeating patterns, thoughts of worry about the future, regrets about the past, criticism toward yourself and others. You simply observe them without judgment, like clouds passing in the sky. This act of conscious observation is already transformational. It takes power away from automatic thoughts, because they only survive in unconsciousness. By shining your attention on them, you begin to dissolve them. The second day is the day of transmutation. This is where alchemy happens. Now that you've mapped the territory of your mind and learned to disidentify from the thought stream, you move from observation to conscious action. Every limiting thought you identified the day before, when it arises, is immediately transmuted. You don't just replace it with a positive thought. You apply the full triple formula, raising the frequency of that moment. If the thought "I'm not good enough" appears, you transmute it with, "I am the perfect expression of divine ability, and this situation is simply giving me a chance to demonstrate more of my innate power." Be prepared. Your ancient mind's resistance will peak on this second day. It will throw everything at you: doubts, fears, lethargy, even unexplained physical pain. It's fighting for its survival. But now you know that this resistance is not a sign to stop. It's proof that transformation is happening. It's the sound of ice cracking before the arrival of spring. You welcome this resistance with the certainty that it is the final breath of an old identity that is dying. By the end of these 48 hours, something deep will have shifted. The new neural pathways you've forged through focus and repetition begin to stabilize. Your subconscious starts to accept this new programming as your default reality. You've installed a new operating system. The signs are unmistakable and start from within, a sense of peace and solidity that depends on nothing external. Your physical posture shifts. Your voice gains a new tone, and the world, like a mirror, begins to reflect this new version of you. But the transformation doesn't have to stop with you. There is a secret to taking this power to an exponential level. When you complete the 48-hour test, you don't just change your life, you become a new force in the universe. But Thoth revealed that true mastery is not in achieving personal transformation, but in becoming a catalyst for collective transformation. This is where you move from student to master. The secret to exponential multiplication happens when you make a subtle but profound shift in your internal dialogue. You shift the focus from me to we. You stop asking, "How can I be more successful?" and begin asking, "How can my success serve and uplift the whole?" This change in perspective takes you out of the limited game of the ego and places you in the infinite flow of the universe. You begin to use what Thoth called multiplying questions. Faced with a challenge, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" a question that puts you in the role of victim, you ask, "What is the hidden opportunity here for my evolution and for the evolution of everyone involved?" That question transforms you from a victim into an alchemist, seeking the gold hidden in every situation. Questions like, "What unique gifts can I bring to this situation?" Or, "How can I be a channel of love and solution here?" Reprogram your mind beyond personal survival. They align you with a greater purpose. You stop playing a zero-sum game where for you to win, someone else has to lose. You enter an infinite-sum game where your victory contributes to everyone's victory. You're no longer trying to attract things for yourself. You become a natural magnet for everything that serves the greater good, and resources begin to flow to you in unexpected ways. The final technique for this multiplication is future identity. But it's not just your personal future identity, it's the identity of your highest and most fulfilled version, the one already living your ultimate purpose and serving the world. You begin speaking to yourself from the perspective of that version. With every decision, you ask yourself, "How would the wisest, most powerful version of me act right now? What would they think? What would they say?" You're not pretending, you're aligning with the energy of your own potential. This act of embodying your future identity creates a powerful effect of temporal attraction. You're no longer pushing your reality forward, you're pulling your highest future into your present. You create an energetic gravitational field that starts drawing in the people, circumstances, and synchronicities that match that version of you. You become a beacon, and the experiences that resonate with your light begin to move toward you effortlessly. By integrating the universal dialogue, the multiplying questions, and the future identity, you create a positive feedback loop. Your personal transformation feeds collective transformation, and the energy of collective transformation accelerates your own growth even more. You become a vortex of evolution. You stop being a small wave trying to reach the shore and realize that you are the ocean itself. And when you integrate this understanding, you are ready to receive the final key, the realization that unites all the teachings. The Master Key, Thoth's final secret. After passing through all the veils, after mastering every technique, the initiate was brought to the heart of the temple. There were no more scrolls or rituals. There was only the transmission of the final secret, the Master Key. And the key wasn't new knowledge, but a realization so profound that it recontextualized everything that had been learned. The realization is this: you are not a separate human being trying to connect with a distant divine force. You are the divine force itself expressing through a human experience. This is not a poetic phrase. It is the literal truth of your nature. The entire journey of transformation, all the work with inner dialogue, was never about becoming something you are not. It was always a process of unlearning, of removing the layers of illusion that made you forget who you truly are. The caterpillar doesn't become a butterfly. It realizes the butterfly that was always within it. You don't become divine. You remember your inherent divinity. With this key, your perspective on inner dialogue changes forever. You realize that your inner conversation is not just a personal, limited exchange. It is the universe speaking to itself through you. Every thought you consciously choose, every word you speak in silence, is an instruction that universal consciousness gives to itself about how reality should organize around you. You stop being a beggar and take your place as a conscious conductor of the symphony of creation. Your inner dialogue transcends technique. It becomes a constant affirmation of your true being. It is no longer "I want to be" or "I am becoming." It is simply "I am." I am the divine presence expressing perfectly through this form. I am the channel through which the love, wisdom, and power of the universe flow into this world. You are no longer trying to manifest things. You become the very act of manifestation. You no longer seek abundance. You become a center through which universal abundance expresses itself. The signs that you have integrated the master key are unmistakable. The first is a deep, unshakable peace, a serenity that does not depend on the outer world being calm. It is the peace that comes from knowing you are perfectly aligned with the flow of life. The second sign is the ability to see perfection in all situations, to understand that everything, absolutely everything, is serving a greater purpose of evolution, even when the logical mind cannot comprehend it. The third sign is that your life becomes a constant flow of synchronicities and miracles. The right people appear at the right time. Answers come even before the questions are fully formed. Not because you are forcing things, but because you are operating at the same frequency as the organizing intelligence of the universe. Transformation ceases to be effort. It becomes your natural state of being. And from this state, your true mission is revealed. When you live from the master key, the search for a personal purpose dissolves into something much greater. You understand that your individual journey of awakening was never just about you. It was always a crucial piece of a collective awakening happening all over the planet. Your personal mission expands and becomes a universal mission. You stop being just an actor on the stage of life and become a conscious agent of evolution, using your very existence as a lighthouse to guide others home. Thoth's legacy is not carved in stone, but in the living current of consciousness he initiated, a continuous lineage of awakened beings who, throughout the millennia, have kept this flame alive. By activating the master key in your own life, you are not only transforming yourself, you are claiming your place in this sacred lineage. You become a link in the golden chain that connects the past, present, and future of human evolution. You become a guardian of wisdom. Now the full knowledge has been handed to you. The question was never whether these keys work. Thousands of years of use by sages and masters in all cultures have proven their undeniable effectiveness. The real question, the only one that matters now, is. What will you do with this power? You can use this knowledge to manifest a more comfortable personal life, and it will work beautifully for that. But if you truly felt the depth of what was shared, you know you've received something far more precious. If you made it this far, leave in the comments, "I am the architect of my mind," to show that you were with me until the end of this journey. And if you'd like to help the channel more directly, in the first pinned comment, there's a special link to contribute and allow me to keep spreading content like this out there. Any help you can give is very important to me and to the growth of the channel. But know this, just by making it to the end of this video, you've already helped a lot. You can also share this content with someone who needs to hear this message. And before you go, I've picked out a special video just for you. It's showing on the screen now. Click on it and I'll see you there.